You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
We are about to get started with our first house call of the weekend. This is where we answer all of our community's questions each and every weekend. So if you're a new listener, we get questions all the time at stephencabral.com/askcabral. I do have to say, though, now, and I've been updating you, that we are about 5 weeks behind. Unfortunately, we're about 5 weeks or more behind, and that's because of the volume of questions I get. And even though I talk quickly, and I've been told I talk quickly, apparently not fast enough to try to keep up. So I'm going to do my best, but what I would like you to do is that if it's a question that you don't necessarily need me to answer, meaning like if it's okay to get my team, my health coaches to answer it, and then also remember, I oversee all of these questions, just go to cabralsupportgroup.com. They can answer your questions on which supplements may be best, which lab tests may be best. Really, it's an amazing group. If you have not joined, go to cabralsupportgroup.com. It's a private Facebook group. It's completely free. My team and I run the group. We oversee all the questions. But it's not just that. It's also people looking for support from other like-minded people. There are so many amazing people in that group. I can't even begin to describe it. So you can usually get same-day answers in that group, Monday through Friday, same-day answers. So pretty impressive. But of course, I will continue to answer your questions. It just may be a month or more in delay. I'm going to try to catch up, but I've got at least 50 questions ahead of me. So without further ado, why don't we get into your questions, and I will be able to do my best to help give you some insight and some support of where to make your next move. All right. So the first question today is from Lynn. Lynn says, I'm about to begin your 21-day detox on Saturday, and I'm hoping it will cure me of my cravings, binge eating, weight gain, inflammation, hormonal acne, etc. I'm worried that cheat meals after the detox will jumpstart my bad habits and cravings again. How do I prevent this from happening? That is a great question, Lynn, and it's actually going to be the topic. Let me just see here. The topic, I believe, this upcoming Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it is going to be on episode 753. So I'm not going to give you a long, drawn-out answer here, but I'm going to answer this in depth, about a 15-minute to 20-minute show on that particular topic. So we're going to answer it then. But what I want to say is this. The 21-day detox will, without a doubt, help you with your cravings because it's going to help rebalance that blood sugar. It's going to help you with the binge eating, no doubt about it, because you're not going to crave that same sugar. It's going to help you with the weight gain for sure, because the average weight loss is 10 to 15 pounds on that 21-day detox. So really simple. In 3 weeks, you lose 10 to 15 pounds. Of course, this is saying that you have at least that much weight to lose, because if you don't, then we, of course, don't want you to lose that much. Then inflammation-wise, yes, it's going to help modulate inflammation. And hormonal acne, you're going to start to clean out that blood, right? So hormonal acne, we always talk about estrogen dominance. We talk about too high testosterone. Well, our job is to really rebalance the inflammation, rebalance the sugar, rebalance the gut, and really help with that. So I absolutely look forward to your success story. I hope you take the before photo, and I hope you take the after photo. And I would love to see that. Just go to cabralsupportgroup.com. You could post them right there, and I would love to see that. And then tune in this Tuesday, episode 753. We'll be talking about I think going to be the name of that episode, I haven't recorded it yet, is going to be How Not to Retox After a Detox. And I actually got that name from my brother-in-law who just did the 21-day detox, got amazing results, and wants to make sure that he maintains it. So really, really great. And we're going to move on now to our next question. It's from Allie. Allie's asking, hi, I'm a Vata body type with a kapha imbalance, aka I have more body fat than I should, despite eating clean, working out, sleeping well, etc. I can eat a meal around lunchtime and not be hungry again until the next morning after workouts. Is this damage that good hormonal metabolically? On the Melissa Ambrosini podcast, you mentioned that you don't recommend intermittent fasting, but on one of your podcasts, you do say that you recommend a 24-hour fast. What is 14 to 16 hours problematic? How is it impacting my hormones, but 24 hours isn't? Is 16 hours still problematic if I don't feel like I'm stressing my body out or putting it into any kind of starvation mode? I'll sometimes end that 12 to 16 hour overnight fast with high intensity workout in the morning. I won't eat until an hour or so after that workout. Usually comes into 12 to 16 hours, no problem. Even though I'm not hungry, is that still causing stress in my system and being counterproductive for weight loss? What is 24-hour fasting 1 day a week a better thing to do? Isn't that also putting the body into stress mode? I'm worried that I would slow my metabolism and be counterproductive to weight loss. Okay, Allie, we've got a lot to clear up. So it sounds like you came into my world on the Melissa Ambrosini podcast, which was about maybe 2 months ago. So it's just catching back up on additional podcasts because I've never said that I don't recommend intermittent fasting. I think I was one of the first people to recommend intermittent fasting more than a decade ago, way more than a decade ago, way back around 2005, 2006. And so, of course, I recommend intermittent fasting. I've spoken about autophagy, which is when the body goes to work. It's cleaning up cancer cells. So I've recommended a 12-hour overnight fast forever. And that's from essentially 7 at night or whenever you stop dinner to 7 o'clock the next morning or 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock the next morning. I've also recommended fasted cardio. I've recommended fasted cardio in the AM, not like, again, bone-crushing, exhausting cardio. But that will also be a great way to oxidize body fat while the blood sugar is hopefully at its lowest. So I have no problem with people doing 12 hours, maybe 14 hours of fasting. What I have a problem with is everyday fasting from dinner the night before to lunch the next day. And the reason I have a problem with that is because in clinical practice, I see it lower people's thyroid. How do you know if it's lowering your thyroid? Simple. Or it's stressing out your adrenals. Do a thyroid adrenal hormone test. Literally, you're going to do a couple drops of blood on a card, fill up the circles. You're going to do 4 saliva tubes. You're going to find out your DHEA, your progesterone, your estrogen, 4 levels of cortisol upon waking, at noon, mid-afternoon, before bed. You're going to find out your thyroid levels, your active T3. You're going to find out your T4. You're going to find out your TSH. You're going to find out if there's any antibodies to your thyroid. You're also going to find out your vitamin D levels. You're going to find out your insulin. You're going to find out your hemoglobin A1C. I literally look at this lab test every single day. So here's the deal. That's how you know if it's causing you to be in more of a fat storage mode rather than a fat burning mode. That's how you test. You don't guess. You figure that out. Okay. So do I recommend a 24-hour fast once a week? Well, for some people, I don't recommend it for a true Vata body type. That might be too much. However, if you look at our 24-hour reset diet, it's a shake for breakfast, just powder and water, another for lunch, another mid-afternoon, and then dinner that night. So basically, you're going from dinner the night before to dinner that night. And then I've also recommended just a clean water fast or lemon water or ginger tea for the whole day. That would be okay. Or if you wanted to, just fresh bone broth, not powdered bone broth, but fresh bone broth. So, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. It really depends on where you're at. If you have a kapha imbalance because of hormones, because you're completely stressed out and you have low thyroid, well, doing really hard workouts in the morning and not eating until lunch is not a good idea. And just because you're hungry doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat. Just you being hungry might means that you're very high in cortisol and it's just shutting down your hunger hormones, which is not ideal either because you're putting yourself again in that fight or flight mode. So hopefully that makes sense. There's no all for one. I'm a huge advocate of intermittent fasting. Every human, except for about 0.5% of the population, maybe 1%, those people who are hypoglycemic with adrenal-based issues are the only people that should eat essentially before bed. Everyone else, 2 to 3 hours before bed, no eating. And then you fast essentially the next 8 hours while sleeping, wait another hour upon waking. You can just do a greens drink upon waking or water with lemon or just ginger tea, whatever you'd like. Hour later, then you can start your smoothie. Like that's 12 hours. That's simple. If you wanted to wait another hour or two and things are light, you're not stressed out in traffic, you're not screaming to get the kids ready, you're not, the normal things of life, then that's fine. But if not, let's not pretend we're at a different spot in our life. And that's how to do it properly. So just simply go back, listen to more of the Cabral concept. You'll get all the different intricacies. Remember, my practice is about bioindividuality. Everyone else wants to fit you into a nice little box and say, oh, you're paleo, you're primal, you're vegan, you're raw, you're this, you're that. No, I'm telling you what you should do based on your body and where you're at right now in your life. So hopefully that helps, Allie. Hopefully I did a decent job explaining that. Elizabeth's up next. Elizabeth's asking, hi, I'm wondering whether sourdough bread and whole grain pastas are considered processed carbs. Are they okay to have in moderation? I will have mung bean pasta once per week and sourdough here and there. I understand that you are not suggesting not to have quinoa. I think that's a double negative. I always have trouble understanding those. Buckwheat and rice, etc. But wondering how you feel when they are made into flours and then pancakes, etc. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. Sourdough bread, pastas, all of those things are processed, right? So we've turned them from a whole food, ground them down into a flour. That's processing, okay? That means they get digested faster. They get assimilated into the body faster. They typically have a higher glycemic index, which means they spike the blood sugar a little bit easier. Well, the big thing is like, what does moderation mean? I'm going to be doing a podcast on this as well. Is moderation once a week? Is it once a month? Is it once a day? You know, I'm like, if you were having candy every single day, like 3 or 4 times a day, and you just had it once a day, would that be considered moderation? It might be. Or if you went from a whole chocolate bar to just 1 or 2 squares, but every single night, would that still be moderation? Well, compared to the whole chocolate bar, I guess it would be. But for me, moderation might be, well, are you healthy right now? If you are, then having that once a week, probably not an issue. Honestly, I have bread once a week as my cheat meal. Thoroughly enjoy it. And that to me is moderation for me because it doesn't tilt me back, right? It doesn't set me back at all. And so for me, I'm fine. Now, sourdough bread's a little bit more interesting. Yes, it could be healthier, but it's also made typically with a little bit of fermentation process and sometimes some bacteria. And that can really affect people with gut-based overgrowth. So actually, sourdough bread, although sometimes healthier, may not be the healthiest option for everyone. So then there's whole grain pastas, which again, could be totally fine. Made from mung bean, made from rice, made from quinoa. Maybe that would be totally fine. I actually have no problem with mung beans as long as you don't have big lectin issues. I have no problem with buckwheat. I have no problem with rice. I have no problem with oats. I really don't. I have no problem with any of those unless you have a problem with it. And then that's when I have an issue with it. Meaning like if you have lectin-based issues, they're probably not going to be great for you. Or if you ran a food sensitivity test and it said you had an issue with one of those things, then of course, that's not the best thing for you. Now, some things like quinoa, amaranth, and millet, I often don't recommend in my practice. And the reason for those is for people with IBS, IBD, Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis. They can really get caught up in the intestines and cause a flare-up. So for those people, I may not recommend those tiny seed grains. I might recommend more things like oats, right? Gluten-free oats. Or I might recommend split mung beans that have been soaked, sprouted, easier to digest. So hopefully that makes sense. Remember, there's no all for one, and I really base it on the person. And then if you just look up my gluten-free pancake and waffle recipe, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free. It's amazing. I make that almost every single Sunday for my girls, myself as well. So a really great recipe that is made from oat flour, no tapioca starch, no inulin, no extras. Simple, easy recipe, absolutely delicious. Kid approved. Okay, so next up, we are going to answer Talia's question. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I listened to your interview with Melissa Ambrosini, and I was not only inspired, but it also hit some mega truths. It highlighted what I've been questioning over the last few months, taking a break from coaching others in order to give back to myself, to rebalance my own constitution so I can serve more powerfully. I just want to take a step back there. Talia, that is absolutely fantastic. I've actually done that multiple times in my own profession, and every time that I felt like I've needed to hit a growth space, I've kind of taken a step back. And I've spoken about this many times, but I refuse to actually become a health practitioner, meaning like I've been a nutritionist forever, like literally forever. Before I even got into personal training, I had been studying nutrition for myself. That was my niche. When I was a personal trainer, I worked with other personal trainers, clients to help develop their nutrition program. And since I consider myself an ethical human being, I would never try to take them as clients. I simply fine-tuned their clients' nutrition programs and help them achieve whatever body transformation goal, figure competitor, bodybuilding, athlete, whatever. Then I started working with athletes and I started working with Olympians. And so I've been doing nutrition forever. But then when it came to natural health, meaning like, okay, giving specific recommendations, I actually said that I'm not going to help others. I'm not going to help them until I figure out, and even though I was doing so much better, to really figure out my own issues. And I just felt that like, how can I have my own issues and then still help others? Now looking back, that's not actually true. It's always hardest to help yourself. It honestly is. So Talia, I want you to just give yourself a little bit of break because in hindsight, I was too hard on myself, which of course didn't help with the healing process. But you can help so many other people while still going through your own thing. Don't think that you really can always try to give back, because as you're giving back and as you're helping others, you're actually opening up your mind to greater things, which are only is deepening your own healing. Okay, so let's move on with your question. I don't feel as inspired to help others, to coach others, as this made me feel guilty simply due to lack of energy. I know this is my path, but my expression is not aligned right now. My personal health has been chaos, dealing with gut issues, parasites, imbalances, anxiety, mostly due to financial stress. my biggest guilt trip has been not being able to be an example of health. I'm confused as what to do now as I'm in survival mode. Brought me back to my personal love for Ayurveda, revisiting my constitution, which is Vata Pitta. I have so many questions. One is, I know there is constitution you're given at conception, then there is constitution you're expressing right now due to stress. I'm wondering what my natural constitution is. How do I start rebalancing? I'm working with an Ayurvedic coach. Tells me off the bat I'm more Vata, but showing kapha imbalance with my gut health issues. Slightly improving, no snacking. Requires me to go 4 to 5 hours between meals. So I'm ad-libbing just because of the length of this question, but everyone can go to stevencabral.com/750 today to read all of the full questions and also get all of the links to lab testing, book recommendations, supplements, and whatever I recommend today, I will put there. It's been working well, but I'm extremely fatigued and still trying to get by. I don't want to live like this. My second question is the best way to do a meal plan based on my body type to rebalance. Do you have any resources that can point me in the right direction? Thank you so much for being an example of wellness and living your dosha. Much gratitude, Talia. Okay, so Talia, we've got a lot of questions wrapped into one, but I totally understand where you're coming from. Here's the deal. We're all born with a genotype. In Ayurveda, that's our prakriti. Now, after that, we morph into our phenotype. So we never leave our genotype, but a Vata body type can become overweight because of too much alcohol, because of too much stress, because of eating too many processed carbs, even though they should be able to metabolize those better, okay? So that's possible. The problem is with a lot of health practitioners is that they're taking your mental constitution and they're taking like gut-based issues and they're saying that you're exhibiting this constitution. Well, that's not usually the case. Just by the question you wrote, like I know, of course, I can't give you a true diagnosis over a podcast, right? But everything is stress-based. Everything's stress. That's Vata-based. Your constitution probably is Vata and your current stress is still Vata. And that Vata can actually be causing your gut-based issues, which then leads to, yes, a cold gut, a lack of hydrochloric acid, which is a kapha-based issue, right? But it started with Vata. And so Vata has to be imbalanced. It has to be balanced first. So Vata needs very balancing, warm, nourishing foods. Kapha needs the opposite of that. So really what you need to look at is, how can I nourish my body from the inside out? Warm, cooked vegetables, nourishing foods, not over-exercising, doing things that slow the mind and body. They're anti-kapha. You need to work on Vata right now. You need the meditation, the hatha yoga, a little bit of calm introspection, going for walks. Like, these are things that are going to pacify. They call it pacify Vata, calm Vata. The last house call, hopefully you tuned in. I gave you a bunch of books on episode 743. So tune in to the last question on episode 743. That I gave you all sorts of different recommendations there for Ayurvedic books. You'll want to eat, predominantly 3 meals per day. But for you, if you need a mid-afternoon snack, that would be totally fine. It might be just a little bit of fruit. It might be some fruit-less vegetable juice. It might be a smoothie with ginger to help with the Vata. It might be even just a small bowl of oatmeal with some blueberries on top, to just something warm and nourishing for the body, depending on where in the world you're writing in from. But really what I'm recommending is calming that Vata mind, calming the Vata body, which is just very, very stressed out right now. Remember, you are on a journey. You will never get to your you'll get to your final destination, yes, but there is no end. There really isn't. So everything you're looking to achieve, you will achieve, but all in good time. And everything that you want to achieve will not be all that you achieve, because you don't even know how much and what you will achieve in your life. And the reason is that you have to take the next step. So take the next step. Be gentle on yourself. Continue to work with others at the level that you can do right now, meaning like you might not be able to work with so many people because of your tiredness, which is Vata. And then you'll be able to then give back. And as you serve others, it will begin to enlighten you. It will begin to give you energy. It will allow you to then continue following down that path. You'll read the right books. You'll continue to go back and listen to more of the Cabral concept. You'll listen to other people's podcasts. You will start to really embody who you are, and you will accept that. You'll be at peace with it. You'll come into balance, and then really the true you will shine. So hopefully that helps. I know that there are great things ahead for you. Give yourself a little bit of a break. That's all. Start to breathe, rebalance, nourish your body. You're going to be good to go. All right, the next question is from Anonymous. They're writing in, thanks for all the great info regarding detox. I take a coffee enema 2 to 3 days a week. Is there any other detox protocol necessary, or will this be sufficient? Okay, tune back in. I will link it up in the show notes today on my episode on coffee enemas and why they are used all over the world in a anti-cancer-based clinics. So for people doing cancer-based therapy, why do they use them? So just go to stephencabral.com/750 today. Okay, here's the deal. Coffee enemas, although they can be great as an adjunct, they're not the end-all be-all. Meaning like at the Gerson Institute, they don't just do coffee enemas. They do coffee enemas to expel toxins at a greater rate. But you need to give your body much more nutrients to help with the detoxification protocol. So coffee enemas, they help to produce more glutathione as transferase. But in order for you to produce more glutathione as transferase, you need N-acetylcysteine, you need selenium, you need more of those sulfur-based amino acids such as sulforaphane, you need zinc, you need all your B vitamins, you need glutamine, right? So you need these things. So it's not enough. Meaning like, okay, I would do something like the 7, 14, or 21 day Dr. Cabral detox. It's a liver detox. We just don't call it a liver detox because that like scares people saying liver detox. But really all it is I'm giving your body all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, and vegan-based protein, which contains the amino acids, to fortify your body, to give your liver what it needs. Because as a naturopath, a true naturopath, meaning like just someone who believes in all forms of natural healing, so I don't exclude anything. I will use anything and everything to help you. That's the bottom line. What I do is this. I give your body all of the raw resources that it needs, right? And then I let your body do what it innately knows how to do. I step out of the way. I really do. How I help people heal is I help them to remove the toxicities and then replace their deficiencies. And I get out of the way. What I do is I figure out what those are through typically lab testing, such as the hair tissue mineral analysis, which looks at all your minerals and heavy metals. I do the organic acid test, which looks at gut function and glutathione and all your vitamin levels and mitochondrial function and neurotransmitter waste markers. Like, it's an amazing test, even if you just run those two, okay? But you can do the hormone test like I talked about before, thyroid, adrenal hormone. So I figure out what's wrong. I put back those deficiencies, right? I give you back whatever the body needs. Then I help you to remove the toxicities with things like the Dr. Cabral detox. When I do that, the body heals. It's not magic. There are no miracles involved. It is miraculous, yes, because the body knows how to do it. But what I'm doing is I'm literally giving your body what it needs, and I'm stepping out of the way. A true naturopath does not heal you. A true naturopath gives you what your body needs to heal itself. That's the bottom line. So no coffee enemas are not enough. And also, I wouldn't do them 2 to 3 days a week indefinitely. I would do them for a period of maybe 3 weeks or 6 weeks. Heal the body, get rid of as many heavy metals, toxins, plastics, hormones, whatever you need to do, right? Parasites, whatever you need to do. And then that's it. Because you can't really get reliant on using coffee enemas. It also can be draining on the nervous system. So you'll do them for a period of maybe, like I said, 3 to 6 weeks, and then you'll be done with them. And then maybe it's just every once in a while after that. All right, let's talk with Lynn. She'll be our last question of the day. I think we did pretty well today in terms of answering questions. I really can't go faster than that. I always say that I'm going to answer more. But the truth is that people write in. It's taken a month to get to their question. And I don't want to shortchange you on your question. So, it's just the way it is. This is the way that I do things. If you really do want faster answers, meaning like usually same day or the next day, go to cabralsupportgroup.com. We answer them very, very quickly there. All right. Lynn's asking, I had a question about your podcast on the benefits of rebounding. Do other jumping exercises such as jump roping or jumping jacks replicate the benefits of a rebounder, or is it a different benefit? How do they compare? Lynn, easy answer. Yes, they do. Jumping jacks or jump roping will give you the same benefits as rebounding. Okay. The difference with the rebounding is that it's less impact on the joints, right? So as you land, it propels you back up in the air because it's almost like an elastic being stretched. That's what a rebounder is, or a trampoline, right? Rebounder, trampoline, same thing, different words. Is that when you stretch an elastic, it slings back. Well, that's what a trampoline does. So it allows you to be weightless there for a second. It's amazing. It's easy on the knees. It's easy on the ankles. It's easy on the lower back. But both are great, meaning like you actually get more bone density benefits that will help with osteoporosis. And as long as you keep your knees slightly bent as you're doing your jumping jacks and jump roping, you'll get a lot. You actually might get more benefits, right? So I love both. If you have knee problems, ankle problems, use the rebounder. Everyone else, just use both. I actually like using both. I use both the rebounder and I actually like jump roping. So jump roping would be another great one as well. So feel free to use both. You get the benefits of both. What does it do? Just everyone tune back in. I'm going to actually link up that podcast because that's a great one. If you haven't listened to that, the benefits of rebounding, you have to check that out. And the reason is it moves your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system is 4 times the fluid in your body of blood, like 4 times the amount of blood in your body is the lymph. The lymph can get congested, leading to allergies, weight gain, hormone issues, skin issues, because that's the drainage system of the body. It drains toxins. It drains white blood cells, immune cells. You have to check it out. Really, the lymphatic system is never talked about. Honestly, I can't think it's ever talked about in conventional medicine, and even not a lot of naturopathic medicine, but it's talked about quite a bit in traditional naturopathy as well as Ayurveda. Moving that lymph, so important for overall health and anti-aging. You want beautiful looking skin. You want vibrant skin, hair, nails. You want good digestion. You want to get rid of those allergies, asthma, any cellulite. You have to get that lymphatic system moving. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to link everything up today. Just go to stephencabral.com/750. That's where everything will be today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow answering more of your questions. And I hope you have an amazing weekend. Take care. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.